Today we are talking about learning how to manifest. I've had to do so much work around learning how to manifest, largely because whenever I first started hearing about manifestation, I thought it was this thing where you just say, like, I want $1 million, and then the next day it's just there. I didn't really understand that a lot of manifestation has to do with identifying limiting beliefs, learning how to move past your limiting beliefs, and learn how to embody the energetics of the thing that you want in order to bring that to life. So we're going to unpack all of that in this episode. I'm so glad you tuned in because manifestation is truly something that helps you change your timeline and change your life. So while we're waiting for people to come into the live, I am going to do the daily card poll. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Madison. I am a medium and Akashic reader, a Reiki master, and currently I am doing a series, 31 Days to Spiritual Awakening, where I am teaching you guys 31 different things that I learned in the spiritual or metaphysical world that took me from being somebody who was a functioning alcoholic to somebody who is now a spiritual teacher. So it has been quite the evolution for me over the past about 5 years, and now I am sharing everything that I have learned with you guys. So let's get into it. Today's card. So if you haven't been tuning in for the lives, I'm happy you're here. Today we're drawing from the Spiritual AF deck. I've been drawing from it for a couple days, but I like it because it's sort of sassy messages from your spirit guides is the best way to describe it. So today's card, beautiful things happen when you distance yourself from negative shit. What's the first thing you thought of when you read negative shit? Write that shit down and take some space from it for a week. Then notice what happens in your life. You'll probably really like the results. So I have a book club on the divine feminine, and we meet once a month and we discuss this book, You Are a Goddess, where we're learning to channel different divine feminine archetypes and goddesses. And this is something that has been coming up a lot, is basically people learning how to set boundaries around people, places, and things that are no longer serving them. And as you go from the process of shifting out of the 3D matrix world into the 5D world of spirituality, you do have to distance yourself from people, places, or things that maybe were a fit for your old reality, but are not a fit for the reality you're trying to manifest right now. So I think that's such a good reminder when we talk about manifestation and the fact that some of it is work that we have to do as well. So let's get into it. Manifestation. So manifestation essentially comes from the concept that your thoughts create your reality. I'm going to give you a small example. I have somebody in my family who is notoriously negative. If you are around this person, they just have something negative to say. The world's always caving in on them. Nothing's ever working out. And so I decided to start studying this person, my family, in terms of manifestation. And so with this person, there was a specific place they wanted to move to. And they would drive past this place they wanted to move to. And every time they would drive past, they would say, oh, I really want to move to that house, but I'm never going to get that house. That house is never going to work out for me, but I really want it. And do you want to know what happened? They never got that house. And the first time that I heard my family member say this, I was like, hey, don't be negative. Maybe, things will work out. Have a good outlook. And they were like, nope, it's just not going to work out. And I was like, okay, well, you're deciding that then. Like, the house hasn't even come on the market yet, and you've already decided that it's not going to work out for you. And so I started to just follow kind of this family member's negative predictions, if that makes sense. I used to be the kind of person where somebody was being negative, I would try to maybe make them be more positive or shed a silver lining or whatever. And with this particular family member, I just decided it doesn't matter, they're going to be negative. So I decided to start sort of studying this energy of, is all the negative things this person is speaking and literally bringing them to fruition. And so I started tracking a bunch of different things that this person was saying that were negative things that were going to come into their reality, and every single one happened. On the flip side, I've been around people who are incredibly positive, who are incredibly upbeat, who know what they're here to do, who know what their purpose is, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go and create a multi-million-dollar business, I'm going to build clientele from the ground up, and I'm going to have consistent income, and I'm going to build my dream life. to bring those things to life in the same way that my negative family member was able to take things out of their current reality by negative self-talk. So I want to clarify that manifestation works both ways, and I personally have been somebody who has been on both sides, right? Before I understood the energetics of what you put out comes back to you, I did a lot of negative manifesting. I was the kind of person that I would be like, of course this happens to me. Negative things always happen to me. And then another negative thing would happen. And then I would be surprised that it happened. And now I have shifted a lot of my energy from that sort of mindset to the mindset of, oh, I can literally create whatever reality I want because we are in a matrix, we are in a program, and part of that program allows us to be able to create whatever reality we want. So if we can create whatever reality we want, might as well be a good one, right? So let's talk about steps to manifest. Because it took me a little while to figure out, like, what are the actual steps to manifest? Because whenever I first started hearing about manifestation early in my spiritual journey, I was giving, like, just finding videos, people were like, yeah, just write down you want $1 million 5 times and it'll come. And that wasn't working. And so I was like, okay, clearly there's a lot more to manifesting than maybe it's been made out to be. So let's really get into the energetics of it. So I started asking my guides for guidance, my spirit team, like, hey, I've been trying to manifest, nothing's happening, what am I missing? And what they revealed to me is that I was missing the entire energetic concept behind how manifestation works. Let's talk about it. So steps to manifest. First thing, you have to identify what you want to manifest. For me, one thing that I am working on trying to manifest right now is a very active online community because I am working on launching a membership exclusive ascension school, basically. And so I am working on actually creating a membership platform on my website where people from all over the world will be able to come at any time and be able to go through different ascension workshops, different workshops in terms of teaching you how to do things in the spiritual world, teaching you how to channel. I'm going to be doing exclusive channeled messages for this group. I'm going to teach you guys how to do different tarot spreads. Like, it's going to be really, really exclusive content that you would normally only be able to find if you went to an in-person class or workshop or event that I'm hosting. And I've really been having this download from my guides that, like, you need to make what you do accessible to anybody, and this will obviously be at a lower price point. So you'll be able to get 4 activations or workshops or meditations or channel messages every single month, and it will be the price of like 1 or 2 of my workshops, you know, and significantly less than any of my classes. So it's basically a way to be able to get that same knowledge, one for a definitely reduced fee than it's what it's like to work with me in person, but also be able to access everything that I teach people in person online at your own pace at any time. So that is one thing that I'm trying to manifest right now. So that's right now what I'm working on, is I want to manifest this online community and this platform where I'm able to be an ascension teacher for people literally all around the world. That's what I'm trying to manifest. So I'm going to use this as an example, and I'm going to take this example and walk you guys what I'm doing and trying to manifest this thing through all my manifestation steps. Okay, so first I've identified what I want. I want to be a ascension teacher, and I want to be able to do this through not only online but in person and through live things like this, right? So next thing you're going to do is identify why you want it. There's a couple reasons that I want this online learning school. So a couple reasons. My sole purpose is definitely tied to being here to help people ascend, to share my knowledge, to share my experiences, to make people feel less alone, and to help people realize that you don't have to constantly go to somebody for readings or intuitive updates or to get guidance. Like, you can tap into your own Akashic records. You can learn how to do your own energy healing. You can learn how to connect with your own higher self. Like, I'm here to empower people to be able to learn how to do all the things that I do, so that way they can truly become those, humans that are more living in the 5D of being spiritually in tune than living in the 3D of being trapped in the matrix and thinking I'm a victim, things just happen to me, I have no control of my reality, and instead being able to break free and step into the realization that you can truly create any reality you want, but it does take time, energy, effort, and work. So let's get into some of the other steps. So So why I want it? Definitely because it's part of my sole purpose. I also want it from a standpoint of being able to travel. I feel very called right now to start doing a lot more grid work. If you're not familiar with the term grid work, it's essentially going out to places where there is maybe a lot of negative energy, or maybe sacred sites that have been turned off or minimized because of overpopulation, overcrowding, over tourism, whatever. So over the past probably year or two, I've been being drawn to very specific places, whether they be sacred sites, national parks, state parks, and basically going in and doing energy work for the land. So being able to go in and activate the land. If there is water, being able to activate the water, being able to activate the people there, if that's for their highest timeline, being able to call on angels and highly evolved beings to be able to help me do this. So right now, working with people every single day, one-on-one, it is super hard for me to also get this component of grid work in that I'm supposed to be doing. So me creating this platform for other people allows me to continue to awaken other people, but also allows me to be more focused on grid work and be able to reach a large number of people while also being able to do those videos from anywhere while I'm doing my grid work. Like, it's a really full circle reason why I want this thing to come to life, right? And it's because it helps to unlock different things or different timelines for me. So after you've identified what you want, you need to identify who do you need to be in order to have this. So it's probably been a year now that I've been getting the very clear message that at some point I'm supposed to have like an online. Whenever the download first came to me, it sort of came to me as like an online Hogwarts, like basically teaching people that like magic and spirituality and manifestation and all these things are super real and teaching them how to do it. I've probably been having this specific download for at least a year, where my guys have been like, you're gonna have this online membership platform, you're gonna have a new video every single week, it's gonna be teaching people how to awaken, how to ascend. But I've had to do a lot of inner work to get to be the person that is actually ready and able to launch this thing. Let's talk about that. So a year ago, whenever I first had this download, immediately what came through was imposter syndrome of who is going to be listening or caring or tuning into this. What if I launch it and nobody buys? What if I spend money investing in creating this thing and nobody even wants it? So that those sort of limiting beliefs are the things that block your manifestations. So a year ago, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to manifest this, New Earth school, and nothing happened. And I was like, that's so weird. And then I realized I was not the person energetically that I needed to be able to be to do this. I did not have enough belief in myself. I did not have enough belief in my purpose. I did not have enough belief in my ability to truly impact large numbers of people. Whenever I had this, I was just in a place where I was working fairs pretty much every single weekend, just doing readings. I hadn't really even started teaching classes at this point, and so I was like, how is it all going to work? And so sometimes you get downloads of things you're supposed to manifest, and it's going to take you a little while to become that person. So here's what I've done to energetically align to that frequency. A big thing that I have done is I have done a lot of journaling, affirmations, learning to quiet the mind, and learning to overcome a lot of my limiting beliefs. So if you want to know more about limiting beliefs, I do have a limiting beliefs episode I did a couple weeks ago. But limiting beliefs are essentially any beliefs that you have that stop you from getting that manifestation. So I want to create this New Earth school, this ascension school, but my limiting belief is that I don't know enough. I need to read more. I need to learn more. What if nobody buys? What if I got the download wrong? And I had to do work around all of those limiting beliefs before I could get to the point that I'm at now, where I'm like, oh yeah, obviously I'm supposed to do this ascension school. I already have the format for what's going to be included every single month. I already have downloads as to how I'm going to make it work into my normal schedule. I happen to get referrals from people in my spiritual community that were like, here's the best platform to host something like that. Like, now that I've done the work to become the version of self that's ready to actually do that, everything's coming together. So this manifestation example I wanted to use with you guys because one, it's something that I'm actively going through and I love to share things that I'm actively going through. But two, because there is, I think, a frustrating and manifesting and nothing's coming through, you don't know why nothing's happening, and then you just sort of like give up, right? And I was in that cycle for a long time. I would try to manifest, it would come instantly, I would give up, the manifestation is bullshit, and kind of, over and over again. Until my guides were like, it's energetics. You cannot say, I want to manifest $1,000,000 if you don't feel safe holding 100, right? Like energetically, you have to do the work to become that version of self that needs that thing or is safe holding that thing. And a lot of that can be emotional regulation, nervous system reset. I have done a ton of work on my nervous system and on my heart chakra, specifically to feel worthy of receiving, right? Because for so long I was like, yeah, other people, have similar things, but like they're better than me or smarter than me or whatever. And eventually my guys were like, those are narratives you created. You created a narrative that you are not good enough or not ready enough. And until you break out of that narrative and do the affirmations and meditation and journaling that's needed to be done to break free of that, you're going to be stuck in that cycle, right? So for me, what this has looked like is mentioning the card. I've had to cut off some people, or maybe not associate with some people as much that maybe aren't helping me ascend to this timeline. I'm kind of in a situation right now where there's a lot of people that would like access to my time, and in order for me to build what I'm here to do, I have to choose to say no to some of those things, right? And not all of those things are negative, but some of those things are things that I don't want to do, that I feel obligated to do, or people that I feel obligated to hang out with, that I can't have that in this new timeline because I don't have time for both. I don't have time to people please and be worried about if I upset somebody because I said I couldn't come because I was at capacity, and also be manifesting this, worldwide business of being able to help people ascend, right? So identify who you need to be to have this. So journal. What is your limiting belief? That thing you want to manifest, what limiting beliefs do you have around that? Then tap into, are these even my limiting beliefs? Because a big thing that I personally have learned around entrepreneurship specifically is I had a lot of limiting beliefs that were not mine, meaning that they were passed down from other family members or people with a scarcity mindset that were in my life. I gave this example the other day, but whenever I was a kid, I very much wanted to be Stacey London from What Not to Wear. I don't know if you guys remember that show. It was this TLC show called What Not to Wear. And this woman, Stacey London, she would come in and basically help people transform their whole life from somebody who was really, just in like a bad place to somebody who was more vibrant and happy. And I really always resonated with that, being able to help people transform, right? And the only way I was able to see this as a child was through the show What Not to Wear. So I go to my dad, I'm like, hey, I want to be Stacey London from What Not to Wear, and I want to empower people to like live their best lives and like break out of like whatever like things are keeping them back and just be empowered and like step into like their highest version of self. And my dad has passed away now, but whenever he was alive, he was an attorney. So very much in the 3D world, he grew up very, very poor, him and my mom both did, and they both did a lot to basically tell us that the only way to not be poor is to go to school and get a job and work for somebody else for 30 years, and the more degrees the better, and the more hard you work for somebody else's business, that's how you're successful and that's how you make money, and that's the safe way, right? So I remember a lot of times during my dad's life that he wanted to start his own law firm, or break out of maybe doing traditional law and move into a different form of law in his own business, and he never did it because he had a limiting belief that he had to work for somebody else in order to be successful. And so whenever I started doing this sort of business, I had a lot of that come up of like, I've seen other people do it, but like, can I do it? That sort of energy. The other thing that's really crazy that started coming up for me a lot is there would be people in my life who had a scarcity mindset or who had a failed business that would comment on my business. So whenever I launched my business and got my space, I had a family member who has a failed business who told my mom like, oh, that's cute, she's trying to start her own business, but like it'll probably fail. And that's not my limiting belief, that's that person's limiting belief based on their life experience. So often we struggle to manifest things because we have limiting beliefs that aren't even ours, that have been imposed on us because of other people's limiting beliefs or scarcity mindsets. And what's hard about that is when people project their limiting beliefs on you, they don't realize that's what they're doing. They think they're trying to help you or protect you or give you good advice or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, I always knew that like I was not supposed to work for somebody forever. I was supposed to truly help people be able to transform their lives and find their soul purpose and heal and all the things, right? And that doesn't really exist in a traditional job like we have today. So it took me a lot of time to really work through all of that that's been coming up, right? Why do I have limiting beliefs around knowing that other people have similar things that I do, but they're really successful, and why do I feel like maybe I'm not, you know? All of those different things, and a lot of it is tied to childhood or other limiting beliefs that other people have unknowingly kind of projected onto you. Okay, so journaling affirmations, since y'all are on YouTube, there's a girl on YouTube I love, her name's Lavender, and she does affirmations specifically around helping you rewire the subconscious to be more confident. So whenever I was first starting this journey, I listened to Lavender's affirmations 3-4 times a week for probably 2 years. So that I want to be transparent about as well. You can't just manifest from one timeline where you're really stuck and everything's negative to another timeline without doing any work. You have to do the work. You have to figure out what's holding you back. You have to take time to do the affirmations. You have to take time to do the journaling. Like, that's the reality of being able to manifest, is you have to do the inner work to become the person who deserves the things you want to manifest, right? Okay, so next what we're going to do is we are going to take action. So we know what we want to manifest, we know why we want to manifest it, we know the version of self we have to be to do that. Now we're going to take action. For me, right now, this looks like physical and energetic action. So I today did a cacao ceremony for myself with the intention of being able to show up online and create an online community. I also am on the process of doing all the back-end work to get this membership platform up and running, and I've invited my angels or my spirit team to come in and help me to be able to connect with the right people that I'm able to help, connect with people who need my messaging, all of that, right? So I'm truly doing it all. I am doing the work that I need to be doing to be that version of self. I am doing the physical work, I'm doing the energetic work, I'm asking my spirit guides to come in. And so I truly think when you're trying to manifest something really, really big, it's very important to notice that you really can't do that on your own. You have to have angelic guidance or support or help. If it's not from your angel team, maybe it's from somebody, you know, in the physical, right? But there's very few things that we are here to do truly alone. And most of the time when we're trying to bring big manifestations into our lives, it does involve us working with other people or spirit team or whatever to bring that to life. So today I was sitting down to like do all the back-end website stuff, and I'll be honest with you guys, I hate that. I hate back-end stuff. I just want to do this all day. I just want to chit chat and tell people what I know all day. But being a business owner, that's not, you know, what every day is. So this morning I was like, hey guys, I really need to sit down and set up all the website stuff, make sure everything flows how I want it. Because basically I'm kind of like a playground setting on this website where I haven't paid for it. I'm trying to make sure everything it has all the functionality I need before I commit. So I was like, you guys give me the patience and the strength and like the knowledge to be able to like sit down and actually like do this, right? Because I would love to pay somebody to do this for me, but I'm not at that point in my business. So it's like, if I want to create something or have something new, I have to do it, right? So I'm calling in my angels like, hey spirit team, I know you're around. I love you guys. I need help on this. And what happened? Literally, I logged in today and was like, okay, if it all works today, I'm going to pull the trigger and commit to the year-long membership, right? Guess what happened today? The year-long membership is now 50% off today and tomorrow. So I have today and tomorrow to play around and make sure that everything runs seamlessly how I need it to, and that it has the storage and the capacity for what I want to build in the long term. And now I'm able to get it half off. So it's like, that's another way that like your guides just help and facilitate things like that, that it's like, I never really could have gotten to this place on my own without the angelic help, you know? So last step is inviting your spirit guides to help you. So if you have one spirit guide you work with, if you have no idea who's on your spirit team and you just want to connect with them, you can just say, hey spirit guides, hey angel team. I do a lot of that when I'm just kind of referring to my team in general. So if you're like, I know they're out there, but I don't know their names, just say, hey spirit team. They know you're talking to them. It's an energy. So that is the last step, is always inviting your angel team in to help you be able to manifest. So another thing I would recommend to really help to expedite your manifestations is visualization. So do a meditation and sit down and just visualize yourself having that life. If there's something you want to do, be, create, have, envision yourself already having that, and that will also help you along with some of these steps. Because maybe you go to envision what you think it is you want to manifest, and you realize I don't even feel comfortable visualizing that because I don't feel worthy of that. And now we're back to, okay, we need to do work around those limiting beliefs, do some affirmations, process some emotions, do some journaling, and that really helps you to gauge where you're at. Because when you get to the point where you can go and you can visualize that manifestation and know that that thing is already yours, that's when your timeline is really going to open up. So I hope this gave you guys a little bit of clarity on manifestation, that, you know, it is definitely a process of you doing some work, you doing some energetic work, you aligning with your spirit team, your soul purpose. There's a lot to it, but it's definitely something that I've spent a lot of time and energy trying to master over the past few years. So I'm happy to share that guidance with you guys. A couple other things I wanted to tell you guys about. If you ever want to work with me one-on-one, I do offer virtual and in-person Akashic Records readings, where I connect you with things like your soul purpose, your past lives, your spirit guides, guidance from your spirit team. Really whatever you need for that session is what comes through. That's what's cool about the Akashic Records. The other thing that I wanted to tell you guys about is on 8/8, which is Lionsgate Portal, I will be doing a manifestation workshop in Greensboro. So I have a business downtown Greensboro called Holistic Awakening, and I host different workshops and events there. And so on 8/8, I will be doing a workshop on teaching you guys how to manifest. We'll be going through journaling, we'll be going through visualization. It'll be a really fun workshop. So if you want to come out to that, all of that is linked in my bio or in the show notes in terms of my website to be able to book with me. Readings are going to be under the appointments tab, and classes and events are going to be under the classes and events tab. And like I said, I also offer readings virtually from all over the world, and I will be doing a YouTube live on 8/8 as well to give you guys a glimpse of my manifestation workshop. So thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, I have one more thing to talk about before I leave. Sedona. Okay, so we still have one spot left for Sedona in September 21st to the 26th. We are going to Sedona to do things like energy work in a vortex. We're going to be doing cacao ceremonies, Akashic meditations, horseback riding, hikes at the Cathedral Rock, which is a sacred site. We're going to be visiting the Grand Canyon. So if that sounds aligned for you, I have a lot more information on my Instagram, which is at a Holistic Awakening, and I also have more information on my website, which will be linked in the show notes. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for another episode. I will be back tomorrow